Hola amigos, soy Edna Campos, directora de Macabro. Bienvenidos a esta charla con Devin Das y Josh Wallace. Josh Wallace es director y guionista de Keeping Company, esta película que, bueno, que ustedes ya habrán podido ver en plataformas Cine a través de streaming y también en la Cineteca Nacional. Si están viendo esta charla antes del martes 24 de agosto, no se la pierdan, estará en la Cineteca Nacional en pantalla grande y si ya la vieron, pues bueno, no se pierdan la charla, va a ser muy divertida con Devin y Josh. Devin es productor y guionista y también es uno de los protagonistas de esta película. So, welcome, Josh and Devin. Welcome to Macabro. Welcome to this exciting new way to communicate with the audience. Yes, but well, I'm happy to have you. Yeah, exactly. The new world.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, very, very pleased to be a part of the festival. And I mean, just even that the fact that we're able to do this still is amazing. And we're so grateful. So again, thanks. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you again, guys. And thank you for let us show your movie. It's a movie I found for moments it's very funny, for moments it's very tragic, for moments it's surprising. I didn't know that we could go that way, almost at the end. But well, I'm not gonna say anymore. Tell us how did you where did the idea came for the movie?
I mean, I think Devin and I, we originally started with kind of a more simple, it was a comedy. It was purely a comedy. And it was a buddy comedy, and it was just about two guys getting trapped in a basement by some weird guy, and they needed to find their way out. And Devin and I probably had written like 4 drafts of that. And we just weren't connecting with it. And Devin and I are still growing, and this is our first feature, obviously, so it's a lot of learning as you go. And I think in the middle of the process we kind of realized, like, oh, we should be saying something, we should be trying to put forward like what we feel or what we think about something. And so as we kind of went right back to page 1, rewrote the whole thing, and started playing with themes, and obviously a big theme in the movie is kind of dealing with capitalism and structure, and that's where the insurance world comes in, and that world is just as bad as a world full of cannibals, and that's kind of what we play with. And I mean, it was just something that we really wanted to play into theme. That was like the big thing that we kept learning, and that's where like the horror part started to come in more and more, where it's like that's that tragedy that you spoke to, where it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of like unfortunately horrific and unfortunately tragic, but Devin and I are also weird guys that see humor in that, unfortunately. So it was, it certainly for us created such a what we feel is like a unique tone, to kind of put forward a balance to kind of walk, we were I think we were surprised going through the process and kind of like getting to where we ended up, like so I don't know if you want to add.
Well, I'll just add real quickly too that, like, with everything that Josh said, for us, we wanted to, what makes our film unusual is that it's we go against a lot of expectations at every turn of the film. I think when people watch films, they traditionally have expectations of how a story is supposed to be told, and we are still telling a traditional story, but it's surrounded by a lot of untraditional and unexpected moments. And for us, we made those decisions. We had a lot of long conversations and made those decisions because for us, again, theme was the number one most important thing. And for us, it was, we wanted to wanted something that was a reflection of our society and a reflection of our humanity, and not only about how things should be, but mostly how things are. And that's what was most important to us, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've found this, you know, the character the character you portrayed at the
Yeah.
movie.
Sunny.
Yeah, and yeah, with the difference with the other guy. You know,
Yes.
this very like naive, like a naive guy, and then
Yeah.
this and he has this illusion of he's gonna get married, he's gonna be a father, he's gonna have this pretty family that
Fairy tale. Yeah.
yeah, it's a fairy tale. He's a fairy tale, and
Yeah.
this you know, Sunny is like, you know, I'm going for something, and
Yeah.
I like the phrase, I am a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he says I'm a shark. So I found that
Yeah.
that part tells everything.
Yeah.
About the, you know, the theme of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found, and I was going to ask you, how about insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like insurance companies. I have to say that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't.
It's a pretty easy target, you know, because I don't think you're going to find too many people that are fond of insurance companies. So, you know, it obviously, like, and everyone, like, we all deal with it, where it's like, yeah, it's corrupt. It is very, it's a slimy kind of thing. It just, that's the way it's always been. It's an unfortunate thing that we all have to deal with. And, you know, that's, again, it was just a perfect representation of, you know, I think we were still more focused on kind of what capitalism is at large. And those kind of constructs that we, you know, the social classism that we play into and whatnot. So we were like more, I think, more focused on that broader picture, but like, yeah, insurance was just the most fun thing we could choose, I think, to kind of like reflect.
Yeah. Well, and like Josh is saying, our main broad focus was the structure and economic structures of capitalism, which are everything feels so unregulated with where we are currently. You know, everything, it's just, it feels out of control. And in the insurance world, the insurance industry is one of the hardest industries to regulate. And they are literally selling you things that you don't really need, you know, but they're things that we're forced to buy and to buy into. And if we don't have them, we're out of luck. We're screwed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and or at least in, you know, at least in our countries we are, you know, I'm sure, and in many countries, but, you know, at least, you know, we don't have universal health care, where, you know, it's like if you hurt yourself and you don't have insurance, like, or you get sick or whatever, it's like you're out of luck, you know. And like that's partly the insurance industry, and as a whole it's capitalism. And it's just one of those things where if you can't pay up, then you're gonna lose, you know. And that was our main focus.
Like, also, like, like the way, you know, you kind of pointed out to the characters, like Sunny being the shark and Noah being naive. It's kind of, we just took the two ends of the spectrum, like a guy who is playing into the system and is trying to rise up through that structure, which is, he's being a shark and he's going to do what the shark does, you know. And then Noah, it's kind of that, you know, what we were seeing in the world, where it's like, it's great to be optimistic. We all want to be optimistic and hopeful and to hold on to hope. But if you're not keeping your head on a swivel, you know, and kind of checking everything once in a while and understanding, like, you can't just be blindly optimistic. It needs to kind of like come with some sense of reality. So that's kind of what we played with those two characters in that opposite end within that structure of it. It also feels so silly when we like get so deep into what the movie about guys getting trapped in a basement.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and I found this, I think the movie has another movie inside.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm right. This is how I find it. You know, this movie with these guys at this insurance company that try to make their own way. I think that both of them are trying to fit in the system in different ways, but they fit in the system. And then there is this other movie with the house and this strange guy and the grandmother, who is really terrible. You know, it's the psychopath one.
Yeah, you're right. They're two. So that's what we loved about it, is because they seem like two very different worlds, right? You have the one that is the traditional horror world of a crazy serial killers, crazy grandma and grandson dynamic, or psycho dynamic, and then you have like what was more traditionally a comedy world of two guys trying to make it at work, and this is something that we talked about like every single day writing. We talked about it. Lucas, the crazy guy, the serial killer guy, Lucas, in our minds when writing it, and maybe people will catch it on a second viewing, to us, he is our true hero. And it sounds crazy to say, but he's the only one that has a true character arc. Everyone else is one track. They all heighten, but they're all one track they just have their own desires. And he's the one guy, he's the one person who actually learns something and grows and changes. And I don't know that a lot of people will catch that, but it was very much intentional. And we loved melding these two worlds together, because he doesn't change until he interacts with these two guys, specifically Noah. Noah influences him and shows him that there is hope, and that there is another way to live, and that there is a way out. And that's what we loved about melding these two worlds together.
Definitely. It was a mirror. It was always, to us, it was like they were always going to be a mirror of each other. It's kind of also like one of the reasons why the movie's all red, right? Like everywhere you look, it's red. And the reason for that is because it's all the same. Like whether you are in this house of horrors or you're in this insurance world, it's all, bad. It's all horrible. It's all corrupt. So
it's all for profit.
Yeah, that's kind of something that we we wanted those two to kind of like, they are completely, like you're saying, it's two different movies. But by the end of it, we're trying to like, align them into like show, that Lucas says at the end of the film, he says, it's no different out there than it is in here. And that's kind of, again, what we were trying to elicit. And then also that structure between Grandma and Lucas, that it is like, that's a generational structure, the same way that like the corporate structure works, like, generational pressures, just the same way corporate pressures, like stuff like that was like, things we were playing with.
To me, that phrase at the end, when he says it's the same here and outside, that's what I remember more or less, the phrase. And I was like, okay, he's right. And I think he was the only guy that has the big picture.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. He's the only one he's the only one that has a clear view of things by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I find him. He was the only one, because the grandmother is really a bitch.
She's crazy. Yeah.
She's crazy. Yeah. Well, she's the psychopath one. Yeah. But at the same time, there's the owner of the company. Yes, this other woman that is also a psychopath. So I find that you did it really good. To this analogy, between these two women that are head of something that is really terrible.
And that's what we wanted to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and that is what we wanted to go for, is because the focus there was the class idea, the idea of class. Like the grandma is the head of a wealthy household who's trying to maintain that structure, and same with the CEO. So for us, it was just like, let's parallel them. Let's try and make them as similar as possible.
Yeah, well, that's very very interesting, and I find it that you, as I said, that you made it really well. So, well, you Josh, you talk about the colors of the movie. So, tell us more about it. I found it really interesting. You know how you worked with the colors.
Yeah, we were we wanted to be cognizant of it the whole time, and I like it got to a point where people, like everybody on set, knew like if there was blue in the shot, like that it had to be like we had to figure out how to get it out, and it still ends up in some shots, but we tried to utilize color in again very specific ways. Obviously, red being the, it's a color of violence and aggression and blood. And, so again, it only, as Devin and I were talking about these themes, it only really made sense to make the movie kind of monochromatic in that way, where it's like, yep, it's no different out there than it is in here. So that's kind of what we went with. And then we do utilize blue in one specific moment where Lucas and Noah are under the blanket, like in the basement. Noah throws the blanket over Lucas, and they're in their little blanket fort. And that's the only time like the frame is really kind of enveloped in blue. And that's to show that this is the only moment where two human beings are actually going to connect in the movie. And that's the only moment that hope is kind of like, being transferred in some way, where Noah is kind of, showing Lucas the light. So that's
under the blanket.
Yeah. We again trying to be as intentional as possible with color and how it was used in the film. So and it's so like our production designer Eric Schoonover is amazing and did such an awesome job. In kind of keeping that consistent and just knocking it out of the park, especially for we're a small film, it's kind of crazy that we got that level of control over the frame to be able to like do that. So it was really cool.
Well, I don't know if you want to share it, but how much does the movie cost? Because I found it really that it has a very good production, so level. I if you tell me if you want to share it.
Sure. Well, we it was under 500,000, so it was pretty small. But like for that big of a cast and all those different locations, most of them interiors, which made it a little easier. But it was we had to stretch everything, every single dollar. That's what we filmed it in February of 2019, and we weren't able to. It took us a while to actually finish with post-production and stuff, because it was like, we have to stretch everything here to really make it. So it took us a while, but we were really fortunate that we had a crew that was willing to work with what we gave them.
No, that's really good. I think the movie is, as I said, it worked really good with it seems like a high production, it has a level. I found it really good.
That's great to hear.
This I love the cinematography and color sliding. I found it really really good. So congratulations. I think you have achieved a good movie.
Oh, thank you.
We definitely more so stumbled into that. Like it was definitely and that's what's so cool about this. And like going through this process and getting to be a part of these festivals and whatnot is like this is our first time doing all this. So it is kind of like it's all a learning experience, and that's what it should be for everybody. Like hopefully is that people get this opportunity and just know that this is how you just got to go. Like that's it. Like, and that's all we did was like we just kept moving forward, and now we're here. So again, we appreciate
that's good. So about I'm missing one character, the father. this father, that it's also very interesting. I think is another part of the system.
Yes.
Yeah.
We with
it's like a
him,
triangle.
Yeah, it really is. Well, it's funny because Josh said earlier, we wanted to play with different types of structures within our society. The generational structures, the ideas of having to do right by your family, or having to move upward. Having to again, it all comes back down to class. But for us, it was like, that was a great way to represent kind of some of the insidiousness and the ruthlessness that you'll find within family dynamics, where there is that true belief and idea that to be good in this world, you have to move up in the world, and you don't see it but it's very cultural. So like I brought in like my cultural experience within the Indian culture, which is traditionally has a very deep rooted class system in it. And I saw it growing up in like Indian community and whatnot, where it's like you have great people, such great people, great friends, good parents, good friends, and yet there's still this talk and expectation of class. There's such deep rooted classism where there's this talk and expectation of who's doing what, and who's accomplishing what, and who's earning what, and who's moving up and doing what. And it's not, they're not the only, so many cultures, every culture, the American culture is very much that as well, and the Western culture is very much that as well. And we were like, well, this is a great opportunity where we can humanize the character of Sonny, because he's a very unlikable person, and he's really one of the main villains of the film. He's really a villain. Yeah. So it is like, this is a great opportunity to humanize him a little bit, enough that the audience can at least bear him, by showing his father. And where does everyone is bringing what they're bringing to the table because of their past experiences. Noah had nothing and he came up from nothing, and Sonny is coming from a father who is eccentric and really tough to deal with, and very classist. And so we had a lot of fun with that character. He's only in it for so long, but we found that every single moment he's in it, it really packs a punch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to work with Bernard White on that one.
Yeah. Okay. So and for you as to portray this villain, how was it?
It was fun.
It's very different when you are just the actor and well, somebody else writes the character. Yes. And directs you. So, but you participated at the script, writing. The writing. Yeah.
Well, and that was, I think that I might have been more nervous playing that character if I didn't write the character with Josh, but because Josh and I talked about every aspect of the script, and we talked about every character so thoroughly for months and months and months, that when it came time to filming, I was still nervous, but Josh did a great job of helping me hone in the character and directing me. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was just it's fun playing somebody that's terrible, because you kind of get to play the worst versions of, and it's, for me too, it was like, oh, I get to make fun of people. It felt like I was, making fun of people that do think that way, showing the worst of them,
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of scary how easy it was to be that it was easy to be that selfish.
Yeah. Well,
I'd also, like, from the directing end of it, it was also super helpful to have like Devin, and we had a conversation beforehand where Devin did not want to play the character. He was like, we should cast somebody else. I was like, it has to be you. And Devin did such a wonderful job, and it's truly also super helpful when, you know, your co-writer is playing the character, because, you know, it's like, oh, I know Devin knows already what we're trying to do, so it's you know, yeah, I'm not having to like you know, mold him as much, because it's like we already talked about it. We know, so it's like it's super helpful on set. And then also just being, you know, always engaged in the scenes, like that's not always the case with like that the writers are so involved in the production process. So that was really nice to have as well.
Yeah, that's good. And you have to be very angry all the time.
I know. It's funny when I watch the movie, and it's probably because I'm being critical of myself, but I watch the movie, I'm like, God, this character, you know, we heard when we were writing the script and we were getting notes back, everyone was like, this character is so unlikable. But we were like, we got to stick to our guns. We like this, there's a reason for it. And I know we did the right choice on that, but when I watch it, sometimes I'm like, God, I'm so unlikable. I'm like, God, that's like, people are gonna think that's who I am, maybe, and that sucks.
Well, I think it's no, you're not. No, you're not.
And that's why I love doing Q&As, because I can smile more and I can show people.
I would love, you know, guys, I would love you to be here. It's a shame that we couldn't do that this year, because people, Macabro audience is very excited about doing Q&A. You know, at the beginning they're a little shy, but then one begins, and then we can go on all night. We have to, you know, we have a lot of times we have to say, well, we have to go. We can continue outside the theater, but well, thank you guys. Thank you for doing this with us. I don't know if you want to say something else to the Macabro audience before we finish this conversation.
I think first, like, we want to thank you for letting us be a part of the festival, and you know, supporting our weird film, and we want to thank everyone for watching it as well, and checking it out. That it means so much to us. You know, this is, since our first time through, it's like, it's just cool. It's just cool to be a part of it and get this experience. So we're very very grateful.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, and we hope the Macabro audience enjoys our film. And if they don't enjoy our film, we hope they still are vocal about it, because you know what, that's fair. It's fair. It's all fair.
So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for being at Macabro, and you know, for letting us have your movie and to show it to the Mexican audience. And well, I hope we can have you here in the next edition. Yeah,
next year. We're just gonna come as fans. We'll come as fans, and we'll come watch all the movies.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. That's great. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart, of my bloody heart.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Edna.
you, guys.
Thank you, Edna.
Gracias, amigos, que están viendo esta presentación, y bueno, nuevamente los invitamos. Si no han visto Keeping Company, lo podrán hacer a través de pues esta plataforma Cine, o bueno, el 24 de agosto en la Cineteca Nacional. Revisen nuestras redes sociales, Macabro Fitch, en Facebook, Twitter e Instagram, y revisen también la cartelera en macabro.mx. Muchas gracias. Yo soy Edna Campos, directora de Macabro, y les agradezco mucho el haber estado con nosotros. Gracias.